Hello, everyone. My first review. I'm going to do the 1993 film The Harvest, starring Miguel Ferrer. I talked about this 8-pack in my intro video, and out of these 8 films, this was the one film I was looking forward to watching. I like Miguel Ferrer. I love this performance in The Night Flyer. He plays a similar role in this chain smoking, alcoholic, angry journalist. And I like the concept of this film. I don't feel like stealing organs, harvesting organs, has been touched upon enough in horror. I feel like with the millions of people that go missing every year in this country alone, and millions more around the world, things like this probably do exist. So yeah, I like the concept. Thought it was a good idea. Solid lead actor, and I have no problems with Miguel Ferrer's performance. He did a great job. I just feel like the film failed to execute on other levels that I'll touch upon. So there will be spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen it, just letting you know. So the film starts off, and Miguel Ferrer gets sent down to a tropical island by his boss. You'll recognize the boss. He played Robin Williams' gay brother in Home Alone. He was also in the first Independence Day film. Cool seeing him in this movie. Don't know much about him, but a couple movies he's been in have been good. So that actually gave me hope that this was going to be a better film than it was. So they're on the bus from the airport to the hotel. They hit a dog, which turns out to be an important scene. The bus driver's like, "Oh, these damn dogs! They just let them run wild. I wish they'd keep care of them," or something to that effect. So they get to the hotel. You're introduced to the caretaker, who's an eccentric, crazy character. I actually like this character. I feel like this character was underutilized in the film. I would have liked to see him more. He was only in a few scenes, but for the couple scenes he was on, thought he did a great job. So Miguel Ferrer ends up in a bar, smoking, drinking, makes eye contact with this woman. He's sitting there, they're giving each other the eyes, and he goes outside to chase her. She gets in a car, drives off. He hears a commotion. There's a big dog attacking a small dog. He goes over to break it up. He ends up getting bit on the hand pretty bad. Goes to the hospital. While he's in the hospital, they're stitching him up. The doctor says something to the effect of "you're O negative," I believe, and I'd have to do research for sure, but I'm pretty sure that the blood type they mentioned in the film is the universal blood type you can use in any type of transfusion or transplant. So they kind of drop a little bit of a hint there that it could be, well, not really a hint, but they just kind of drop you a piece that maybe the hospital's involved. At least that's what I picked up. That, okay, somebody somewhere realizes his body's the type of body that, universal transplant. So I picked that up. And so he gets stitched up, he leaves, meets the woman again at a bar. One cool scene. I know Miguel Ferrer's cousins with George Clooney. Had no idea George Clooney would be in this film. Didn't research the film hard enough. Didn't go through any filmographies or anything. And there's a scene where George Clooney is playing a dancing transvestite in the bar. And when I seen it, like I said, I had no idea George Clooney was going to be in this. And I was like, whoa, is that George Clooney? Like, I've never seen him like that before, obviously. And I had to go back, watch it again, and I quickly went and checked the filmography, and it was George Clooney. Funny little scene, lasts maybe 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. Didn't expect it. One cool little tidbit, this was George Clooney's film role 3 years before he played From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, he did nothing else in between, except for, I think he was on ER and everything, but in terms of actual movies, like from the dancing transvestite to his role in From Dusk Till Dawn, a movie I love. Definitely an ironic twist there in terms of his characters. So meets the woman again. They're hot for each other. A few little love scenes. He courts her. She's wild. She's ambitious. She's trying to take him out of his element. Couple villainous characters get introduced. Crazy blonde guy. And they give you in the beginning. Actually, I'll go back briefly to the beginning of the film. You see this blonde guy, so you know he's up to no good. But he gets introduced to the blonde guy, and you have a feeling he's going to be involved in whatever's going to happen. You're unsure whether the woman's involved. You kind of think that she is, but you're not sure at this point. So she ends up on the beach. She runs off into the dark. Miguel Ferrer goes to chase after her. Somebody comes behind him, knocks him on the head, knocks him out. Now, I want to stop here and say, up to this point, I was actually really enjoying the film. I was like, okay, we're about maybe 40 minutes in here. And I was actually enjoying the film. I thought, up to this point, it was pretty good, but this is pretty much where the film tops out, and the rest of the film is really forgettable. I mean, they didn't they didn't build anything after that. I mean, he gets knocked out, taken down to some wet, dingy hospital. He wakes up. They knock him out again. They sedate him. Days later, he wakes up. He's hooked up to a machine. The guard that's supposed to be watching him's in the shower. Pulls the cords out, runs off, escapes, ends up in a hospital. They tell him his kidney's been removed. The film just loses its realism at this point. He didn't he didn't act like somebody that just had a kidney removed. I mean, he was depressed for like about 5 seconds, and he went off drinking, smoking, kind of semi-investigating what happened, but still chasing this chick. And the film drops little nuggets. Maybe the boss is involved. Maybe it was just random. Maybe it was the hospital. Is the woman involved? And really, the film just drags at this point until the final act, where apparently they stole his kidney. The person who got it, the transplant failed, so they wanted to come back and get his other kidney. Obviously, that would have killed him. So he fights the people off that are trying to steal his kidney, his other kidney, and the woman gets shot. That's pretty much it. And the film pretty much leaves you on a cliffhanger ending of wondering who was involved. Was the woman involved? She says she was a nurse, so you tend to think she was involved. And one of the bad guys was like, "Oh, haha, you think you just randomly met her?" Like, yeah, right. And so, film kind of leaves you on that cliffhanger of was she involved, was she not involved. Overall, I rate this film maybe I'll be generous and give it 2 to 2.5 stars out of 5. Not much here, folks, but if you're a fan of Miguel Ferrer, worth checking out. But nothing special. And okay, that's it. That's my first film review.